Kind of just blew through those, man. Why don't we just take some questions? I think the viewers always have some awesome questions for us. Let's see. For those of you that haven't tweeted your questions yet, go ahead and tweet it to @ChanManV, and we'll read out as many as we can. All right. So it's Chris Thomas says, "What are some unusual cards which will work with Miracle?" I guess maybe some non-traditional cards that maybe you guys have thought about, maybe brainstormed about, and just haven't gotten a chance. I don't know. Any of you guys? Either of you guys have any?
Yeah. So there was a guy named Freegold who actually came up with this. He's come up with quite a few variations on it, and one of them he posted a guide on, which I found really interesting. He went around Wisp and Mana Addict and Questing Adventure
Oh
and
yeah.
two conceals, and then you would just play those, and you play the Questing Adventure, the Wisp, the Mana Addict, you would conceal, and then the next turn you would kill them or something. Or you would play the Mana Addict, and then you would Shadow Step it. And I think I saw this on your VODs
Yeah,
before,
it
Amaz.
happened to
Mhm.
me.
Yeah. So you just play the Mana Addict and you Shadow Step it, and it seems like a ridiculous move, but then the next turn you play it again, and then you play another Mana Addict, and then you conceal them, or you play Gadgetzan Engineer or some mix of Questing Adventure and Wisp, and then you conceal them, and then you hit the next turn for pretty much lethal. So it's pretty flexible. I've also run into one Miracle Rogue deck which ran Violet Teacher kind of as a side win condition or
Hmm.
just as a stable card. So pretty interesting things.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. I have run into that Mana Addict questing adventure rogue before. It's pretty brutal. Amaz, any I guess unusual cards or untraditional cards?
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, before that, yeah, it happened to me. He shadow stepped his man at the turn 4. He played it and shadow stepped it. I was like, what the heck is happening? I was like, okay.
Right.
And then he put auctioneer mana addict for 0 and then concealed it, right? And then he then put like 7 spells or something and just killed it. But yeah, that was crazy. But in the miracle deck, I guess you can put in Lotheb because Lotheb is just
Yep.
dumb, right?
Hmm.
You're still trying to stall your opponent's turn. And the other card, which is might be good, is actually the haha, the 2/1 for 1 that has charge when you have a weapon, right? Because if you want to beat the hunter matchup a bit more, you can proc the traps that way, and then you can go in. So yeah, the
Oh.
2/1 might see a comeback if there's a lot of hunters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really smart. Let's see. Next one, Sam Walton. What's the best Nax card, and why is it Baron Rivendare? Okay, so I guess each of you guys, like, which your, like, what in your opinion, what is the best Nax card? Amaz?
For now, probably Nerubian Egg.
Hmm.
Probably. I
Okay.
want to say it's Dark Hostess, but I haven't tried it. I don't even know how good it is, but and, like on paper it's crazy, right? But it's
Hmm.
always the practicality that counts.
Yeah. Trump?
Sorry, you took my answer. I'm also gonna give Ruby an egg.
Yeah.
It's like a 4/6 for 2. Wow. And I like the design of the card because it's a card, like Amos said earlier, it doesn't stand alone, so you have to use other cards with it. This one happens to be relatively simpler to use because it fits into a deck already so well, but the idea is good. And it's also been fitting into decks that you would necessarily expect it to, such as Handlock, such as Shaman. I mean, those are less obvious fits, I suppose.
Yeah. I think I agree. Yeah. The Nerubian egg is just, it's kind of cool because it forces your opponent to really have to play around it too. And I think that's, I mean, any card that kind of changes that type of dynamic to even just to decks that a lot of people have been playing a lot, just in the meta game, I think is really cool. And Nerubian egg when played in zoo and stuff, you have to, you can't just like straight up remove the board and that's no big deal, right? You have to actually maybe set up, pop the egg, and then remove it, and that sort of bit. So Nerubian egg is definitely a cool card. Let's see. GTFO nerds ask. Oh, actually, it's the same type of question. Uh, Phil EH10 asks, who is the best hero class to beat the heroic challenges? I guess this. I guess he's asking this quarter. Must be like
Maybe
this
for
quarter.
all quarters, but I think you guys know what my answer is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy for Amaz since he's doing
Of course,
everything
it's
in
the
priest.
druid. No, I mean, no. Priest is like there's just so many weird tools that priest has that you just win. Like how I one shot Vesuvius is because I thought steal his weapon and just went in for damage.
Yeah,
Like that's it. Like it's just because of all these weird tools that priest has. It's just I think it's the best. to solve any puzzles really.
Mind visions, thought steals, all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, the same kind of thing. What about you, Trump?
It's true. Like overall, there are in order to beat the challenges, you usually have to have a pretty extreme deck. So, some examples of extreme decks would be like a Freeze Mage, which runs very,
Mhm.
very few minions, and then plays the Alexstrasza, which happens to be good because it reduces their health down to 15, and then you burn them. It's like your go-to for quite a few of them. Priest tends to be good because of all the stuff you can do. Sometimes you can steal their stuff, which happens to be really good since oftentimes the bosses will use unfair things.
Right.
And then otherwise, it's just there are a lot of different choices. Like against Lothab last week, I brought a Wisp Sap deck, and that happened to be best.
Wow.
Or, I mean, there are a lot of different ways to
Nice.
approach it.
Yeah.
So just take advantage of the boss. Like the most precise answer is there is no best, and you just build a deck to defeat the boss, and you sometimes have to really hand tailor it.
Mhm.
But for those that are like, if you're looking for one answer, which is generally good, Priest is pretty good, Freeze Mage is pretty good.
Yeah, I think I agree with
Oh,
that.
actually, I have something to add to that. I don't know why that made me think of something, but right now there are a lot of people, and there are a lot of like people who are writing articles about how Nastramas is not fun because of because the AI is programmed in a way to use unfair or overpowered cards, when they are themselves miss lethals or like do stupid stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But the counter argument to that is like I'm not treating them as like a real person because AI is not a real person, right? So I treat each of these individual boss fights like a puzzle, and if I see it like that, and there's not like unfair of anything. It's just like a puzzle that you have to figure out. I'm sure that you
Mhm.
can like, craft a deck which can beat the boss like 80% of the time or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, that's the intention of them, right? Their
yeah.
intention are for them to be like puzzles, for multiple reasons. Like, I think I mentioned it last week that it would take too long to write a very good AI, probably longer than we would want when for this expansion to come out to actually write a very good
Oh,
AI from that standpoint. Oh,
did you guys see the Shaman AI on the ladder? There was a Shaman bot apparently that is in the ladder, and it was really good.
oh, was
Did you
it?
guys see this? Trump,
No, 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 I didn't see
did
it.
you play against the
Yeah,
shaman?
I've seen a
Yeah?
few streamers run into it, and I myself
What,
believe I have run into it.
what's his
It's
name?
very impressive. I don't know the names. I should remember this, but I just like wow, that's a really impressive bot. Like you never see them hover over cards, so that's like hit number one. You actually have to hover over a card to play it, right? I think that's how Hearthstone's built.
Yeah,
But they never cover cards. It just plays cards, and it's always the same delay. I mean,
yeah,
dude, Blizzard
increments.
should just hire that guy and get him to make the AIs. It was really impressive.
Speaking of bots, what do you guys think of that? There's just so many bots running at on the ladder right now. There was like one night where I felt like I played 5 or 6 straight bots or something like that on the ladder, and it was just like, what is this, man? What do you think,
Um,
Trump?
I think the popularity of bots is widespread. I mean, it's overblown. Like part of the problem in Hearthstone is you don't actually see your opponent and you can't talk to them, so it's easy to just oh that's a bot. But
alright.
like you can never really tell unless it's blatantly obvious. And the only way where it's I think blatantly obvious is those situations where they have a lot of minions on board and then they attack and then
Yeah,
they
it's
take
slow.
2 seconds
Yeah,
exactly or 3 seconds exactly and then they attack with the other guy
yeah.
and then they attack with that one. Other than that, I think I think bots are not very popular and like easily less than 1% perhaps.
Mhm.
So
Most
I had
people.
always thought that it would be near impossible for a bot to be able to make it to legend. I mean, it's not impossible since
Oh
you play
yeah.
enough games as a bot, you'll get there eventually. But to be able to plan around things and like so many different scenarios,
Mhm.
be able to get there. But apparently they're getting there. Is that right?
Yeah, they save Doomhammer if they have 2 charges, for example, you know. They know when to trade and
Mhm.
whatnot, when to face. That's really crazy.
Yeah, the
I'm just
shaman.
impressed.
Shaman's not an
Really
easy deck to
Yeah.
play. I mean,
And Shaman, right?
yeah,
I mean,
shaman's
why
not an
not just
easy one to
do a
write for
Zuko,
too.
right?
Yeah,
Isn't that like much easier?
right, dude. It's just like
Just use Soulfire
easy.
and win the game, right? That's like the
Right.
only line you need to put in. And wow, yeah, it's really impressive with Shaman.
Yeah. And most of the bots, I think people have talked about, right? They're mostly run just to get the golden classes, I believe, right? More so than
Oh,
anything
really?
else. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think they're just trying to log wins, just as many wins as they can get, just to get all their classes golden. At least that's what I've heard.
Mm.
Let's see. What's next? Okay, Brandon. Brandon Spikes. What raid from WoW would you like to see as an adventure? I think Olduar, or is that Oldar
Oh,
or Olduar, would be amazing. Well, I
first
think.
thing that popped to mind too for me. Yep.
Okay. Trump. What about you?
I mean, I'm going to shrug and say I like all of them. Naxxramas happens to be one of them that I happen to like the most because it was the toughest one in vanilla, and that was where I probably spent most of my time. Uh, yeah, Eldora is a good one.
All right. Joe Mama asks, do you think using Reincarnate and Baron Rivendare in a Shaman to combo with Fugin and Stalag would be viable on ladder? Wow. How does Reincarnate work there? I guess just killing. I guess if you have both of them on the board, I guess. Oh. Oh. Moz, can't hear you. Trump, you there?
Yeah, Maz, you
Okay.
might,
Yeah, Moz, we just
or
lost a Moz
yeah,
there.
poor Maz. Anyways, the way it works is if you have one dead already, and then you play the other, and you reincarnate the second one, they don't have to both be on the
Oh,
same board.
right.
It's as if it died. So you get a Thaddeus, and then you get it again, and if it dies, then you get it again. So one of
Oh
the
my
things
God.
that
Yeah, that's
people were trying
amazing.
on the class challenge is someone, I forget who, did a challenge where you have to try to get Thaddeus before you kill the boss. And this is a fun little challenge.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think
I
I
know,
only got a Stalag in the challenge. I never ended up getting the Fugin when I did it.
right? I know someone managed to get like 3 Thaddeus's in
What?
that
Oh
challenge.
my God, that's
Obviously, you have
awesome.
to slow roll the bot and super BM, but it's kind of a cool challenge.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Well, I'm waiting for Amaz. Hopefully he'll be back here soon. I think his Skype or whatever got cut off there. But in the meantime, we got some more questions. We'll find some more here.
Too cute. Apparently, Amaz did the challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to say Amaz, but I wasn't 100% sure, and he would have chimed in. So I was like, oh, it was me, but he wasn't here.
Yeah. Let's see. Crockford Jack asks, "Will Zoo be tier 0 after Zombie Chow is released?" Okay, let me fix the windows here. The windows are all messed up. I guess the question is how strong. Okay, hold on. Let me get a Moz back on here. He's apparently okay.
Whoa.
What?
I look
Hello?
awesome.
Oh yeah, I know. You're like double. You're like spanning both windows. There we go. We just lost you there for a second. Kind of weird.
Alright, that was weird. I got kicked out of the conversation.
Yeah, it was like mid convo. It's like you were talking and then we couldn't hear you and then you were gone. That's kind of weird.
Oh, that's
Um,
sad.
yeah,
Did
but
Trump
we're
cover what I was gonna say already?
well. Apparently, you were the one who did it, right? You were the one who did multiple that Thaddeus, right? Is that or
Wait, what?
wait?
What?
No,
No.
with the Fugin and the Stalag. Is that what you said, Trump? That he was the one that did it,
No,
or
no, the Amaz challenge. Get Thaddeus before
oh, the
you
Amaz
kill off.
challenge? Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But wait, what did I? Oh, yeah. Well, I was saying that Fuga and Stalag, the death routers don't work as people think they do because if you silence the first one and the second one dies, you still get it, right? If you silence the second one, you don't get it. But if, for
Oh,
example,
wow.
your 4/7 dies and your opponent has a 7/4, it still activates. So then it's like I think people are getting confused over the fact. And for example, if you have both of those out, right? And you have a Baron Riven there, and somehow someone used Twisting Nether or something, you only get one copy of it, right? So I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of
Oh, wow.
misconceptions about the combo.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
best way to clear those misconceptions is just to do it and try it out, right?
I was wondering, suppose you played it in a different order and then the Twisting Nether happened. Maybe you would get 2 copies.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
No, because the first one needs to
Think
die before the second one dies, right? Like, yeah.
Like, what if you played both before Baron Rivendare, though?
No, because like the death rattles trigger after before when they die, right? So the game goes like, okay, they all died, and now the death rattles trigger, right? The
Okay.
first one doesn't trigger because there's
Yeah.
nothing dies yet, but the second one does trigger because something died already. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, Newberry, this might be trolling you, but I'm not sure if it is or not. You tell me. When is Amaz's male fashion blog coming up?
Yeah. He asked me that like every stream,
Oh, does
and
he? Okay.
yeah. Actually, I don't think I can do a fashion blog because there's not much to say. Because in my definition, fashion is whatever the heck you want to wear, or whatever the heck that you don't want to wear.
Yeah.
Like that's fashion.
Okay, real quick. Real quick, this is kind of like the big news yesterday or last 24 hours. What do you guys think about the new Twitch music changes? I know both of you guys don't run music for the most part on your streams, so it probably doesn't affect you much, but general thoughts on it? Trump?
Okay, so this is something which got a lot of people riled up, so I have to tread carefully when I answer this. So I understand that it's a big bummer that and a lot of people who
Oh,
my things coming through someone. Is that you, Amaz?
yeah, Maz, I think I
Whoops.
hear it through speaker.
Wait.
All right.
Okay.
So, anyways, obviously people are really upset that some things that should not be muted in 30-minute chunks, such as most notable examples have been the Dota International, which has run which was blocked because it ran Valve Music, which of course is the company running the game and the big tournament. Some of Twitch's own stuff was silenced off because they had a bit of music which they may have gotten permission to use already. Basically, a robot system is not perfect, and given how many VODs there are, then of course it's going to have false positives. And that sucks when that happens. And Total Biscuit, by the way, before I came on before the show started today, I watched his explanation. I think he gave a pretty good explanation of what's going on. It was in, let's see.
I can link it. It's the SoundCloud one, right? Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Or it's he actually did a YouTube video. It's the content patch one. Here you go. I just linked it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. It's 30 minutes, but the gist of it is he believes that the changes are happening perhaps due to a preventative measure to make sure they don't get hit by bigger things in the future. So it's like they're doing something now which is like people find bad / distasteful / inconvenient, but this might protect something worse from happening down the line. And I mean, like Toloviska has said, just running music that you don't have permission to run on your stream is something that has gone on for a very long time, which doesn't make sense as being allowable, and for a long time it was just overlooked, and it still is. It's only affecting the VODs of it. So that's a long-winded answer of saying it happened.
It happened. 2 words there. All right, Maz. 2-word summary. Oh God, Amaz. Oh, I think Amaz, you're muted again. Oh, still muted. Wasn't sure if we were losing him again, but I don't think we lost him. He just lost sound. Oh yeah, I think I hear you now. Nope, still don't hear him. We'll have him rejoin real quick.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I don't know
Oh my God.
what happened to sound there.
Wow, that sucks. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah. Didn't this happen before when there was a new YouTube policy where people can't like put videos of their games or something like that? Didn't that happen? So like I read something about.
Well, YouTube had a different
Yeah,
they had a change like earlier this year that caused a lot of content ID just to pop up for.
Yeah, to just stop, right? And then they can't like stream other games. And I kind of compared to that where as a game designer or like a music artist or whatnot, like why would you want to do that, for example? Like I don't really understand. Because the thing is, with streaming, the kind of is a platform to make your content more popular, right?
Yeah.
We see like, YouTube let's players like, of course, PewDiePie and making like games really, really popular. And it seems like it's really weird for music artists to want that. I mean, I think it's more based on the companies and more like higher ups and stuff like that. But if I were to like create like compose a song, I would want my things to be out there and people go like, "Oh, this guy's pretty good." Or maybe I'll go to his concert or something, That's like from what I know, from my limited knowledge, I think artists earn more from concerts and whatnot rather than just releasing a single or something like that. So
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah,
what I heard too.
just I just a thought would be like, if I were to make something, I would let people use it, and I think there's gonna happen in the future. For example, like Blizzard says, fair use of Blizzard content. You can like host Blizzard games when you're doing your own commentary and with like no backlash and whatnot, just as long as the content is like not a subscription kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I've thought of when I saw that.
Yeah,
Not
and I
that it
think
really applies to me, right? My
Yeah.
channel's like obviously music free, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people on both sides of the fence, and I mean, yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. I mean, I think a lot of artists make a lot of most of their money, touring and that sort of bit, and it's really the record labels, right, that care a lot about
It's
just
more for the
copy.
higher ups. I think.
Yeah, it's like
I guess it's generally better for there to be like clause for that to prevent more trouble and whatnot. But, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Affects more people than affects a bit of people, but not all the people. So
yeah. When it comes down to it, it is copyrighted. So I mean, material and um, like Trump said, definitely watch that Total Biscuit. He does a good job of summing it up. But yeah, in the end of it, it's like we probably shouldn't be using this stuff. It's just I think a lot of questions have popped up. They're gonna have a Q&A later or an AMA later tonight, probably in about I think it's at 7:30 Pacific or it might be a little bit later. You look on one of the subreddits. They pretty much tell you when the AMA is gonna be. Twitch is gonna have an
Oh,
AMA.
I thought it was happening like right
Oh,
now.
is it
'cause
happening
I
right
see the
now? Let
thread.
me see. Let me.
Says,
Maybe it
"Hi,
is.
Twitch CEO Emmett Shear asked me.
Oh,
on
it's
Skype."
actually 10:30 Pacific. So yeah, so it's at 1:30. Yeah, so you can give your feedback there, maybe ask your questions there. But yeah, I mean the main thing with the whole thing is that yeah, sure, I think there's been some question of whether we're gonna start seeing content ID for just live streams, right? This is only VODs right now, and I think there's been some questions whether that's gonna happen in the future. But so not sure about that. And also um, I think some people have been just let's see what's the best way to just what's the best way to say the content ID stuff here. I mean, so with so with the way to implement it for a content ID, some people were saying that the 30-second delay might actually be, like a setup for maybe doing it eventually for live, but I actually don't think so. Like with the delay for your streams right now is it very long for you guys? It's like 10-15 seconds for me right now. Is it like 30 seconds for you guys on your stream right now?
it's instant for me.
Oh, is it instant? Okay, I still have like a slight delay, but yeah. So I mean, there's some conspiracy theories coming out with that, and I don't
No,
think
it's
that
not instant. It's like 15 to 30 seconds.
it is 15 to
But
30.
yeah,
for you?
like
Okay.
with instant, like you didn't set a delay yourself, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I mean, some conspiracy theories about that, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, about the music thing, well, we've got the while I have the AMA up, I
Yeah.
will just give the direct answer from
nice.
CEO Emmett Shear of Twitch.
Okay.
He says why Twitch has done this music thing. Because we care about you and your viewers, and we want every broadcaster on Twitch to be protected from potential liability, no matter how remote you might feel the issue is. We aren't willing to run the risk someone's life gets ruined over this. And, it's possible. I can see
Yeah.
that. I can understand that. Say a big music record company sues you for playing their music. Like, perhaps they even have the grounds to do so.
Yeah.
And they sue you for, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, maybe that's remote of a possibility, like it's mentioned, but I think it's possible. So, take a preventative measure. That's okay, in order to prevent something worse from happening.
Yeah, and again, the question is whether it's like, is it just the VODs? I mean, is it only going to be just the VODs in the future? Because the VODs I think affects a lot of people, but a lot of people just don't really care about their VODs either, right? Like, for the I don't know, some people just don't make highlights from their VODs and that sort of bit. So it's not incredibly bad for some folks, but if it was like live, the live stream, then it might be a lot more difficult for folks. At least the folks that like to listen to music. I know a lot of people just like to listen to music when they play games. You know what I mean? So, might have to figure out a different way just to even do that without broadcasting it. So it's gonna be a lot of changes. We'll see. There's been a lot of like people talking about leaving Twitch and that sort of bit too, but that can be good. That can be good just for overall, just for the streaming, just the streaming industry in general, just gaming industry, just to have more folks being competitors for Twitch. But I think in the end, I mean, Twitch has such a user base, like a huge user base. I just can't see a lot of people wanting to leave because of that. Okay, so let's see. What?
Nothing. Like, I don't know. I just think that it's like another problem, right? Like people like to cause problems, so you need to find a solution to the problem. That's what I think. Like, I'm speaking very general sense.
Yeah.
Because like I think it's untrue that when you look at when you look at someone streaming, that music is their main content, right?
Yeah.
So based on that, I would say that it's people trying to cause troubles, so you just need to find a solution around that.
Oh, you mean just people complaining about it, I guess?
No, as in like people who are making this like a problem.
Oh, I see what you mean.
They're problem makers. So we as people, we have to like just find a solution to deal with.
So royalty-free music, guys, or just don't play music, right? Just one or the other is best solution. And these two guys right here they don't play much music on their stream anyways, or if any music, right? All right, maybe one.
And also, I mean, just a final word on it.
Okay, final word. All right, sure.
It has been said, and chat's said it a lot. Let's see. We have absolutely no intention of running any audio recognition against live video, period. So if you want to still run music, that's fine. The VOD section of Twitch is admittedly not that popular. Like, you don't usually watch it for the live part. And yes, some people do watch VODs, and there's still a few thousand people who will do so every time, and they'll be slightly annoyed, but you can always not run music, or you can run music on the public domain, of which Twitch has provided a few links to, like, artists which have just given complete, like, permission to use on your stream.
One thing I wish they would have done, though, at least, I wish they would have given a little bit more notice, because there are a lot of people who, like, I know some people, for instance, that they kind of use their VODs or their past broadcasts as kind of like kind of like memories, you know what I mean? Like, there's a few of them that they'll always go back to and that sort of bit. It would have been nice to have gotten a little bit more notice so people could export to wherever they wanted to export if necessary, instead of just having it like that. I think you can still export it, actually, by the way, with the sound, I believe, with the audio. I think, or there are some ways to do it apparently. So if you need to do that, I think you can still do that. Because I think the filter is actually not on the source itself. It's actually something that happens between the when the actual data is coming from Twitch to you, right? The filter happens somewhere in there. So if you guys need to do that, you can still figure out ways of doing that, exporting it to like YouTube or wherever you want to do it. All right, how about one or two more questions after that, and then we'll call it a day.
That was a long question.
Yeah, that was a long question, and we could probably talk about it for like another half hour, quite honestly.
But I think I should have just answered Hearthstone soundtrack and just the next question.
They wouldn't have been satisfied with that, man. They definitely wouldn't have been.
I mean, in terms of Hearthstone, that's a good answer for the Hearthstone streamers in specific, but like it's like way over our heads, this entire thing.
Yeah. Okay, so
way larger than us, I should say instead.
All right, Strelzik, actually a buddy of mine who is a really good player, and he also hosted the Fireside with me last weekend. He has a question for both Amaz and Trump. What are your thoughts of Kodo Naturalize in Druid now that Deathlord is popular? I guess, what do you think of either of those cards?
Oh, either of those cards. I was like, what, did they combo or something?
I know. I was like, I don't think they combo. No.
Trump, go ahead.
Okay. I don't think Death Lord is popular. So I think Kodo Naturalize is a bad idea.
That was fast.
Okay.
I don't think naturalize. I mean, if you're playing it, it's not because it's Death Lord, right? You're playing naturalize because of naturalize. Um,
Yeah.
so naturalize is actually a really good card. I think it's a very underrated card, especially when you need to kill your opponent. You know, you can just get through taunts with naturalize. You can even silence a high main and then naturalize it. Like druids just are very weak on removal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think naturalize should be played more.
Yeah, I mean that's like you said, that's one of the weaknesses. You do that's why druids will run BGH, right, just to help out a little bit with just giant targets. But naturalize is the answer for big targets with a penalty there. What do you think about mill decks? Actually, have you guys the viability of mill decks? I mean, some people have been talking about it here and there recently.
Oh man, like I tried one and I don't know, it didn't really work because at the same time you're kind of milling yourself because Oracle is like has to be there, right?
Yeah,
And then you remove their stuff, and then you have to have draw power as well. Otherwise, you run out of stuff to remove their stuff because they're
yeah,
drawing more stuff. So I'm not really sure it's gonna work too much. Like not like a super mill deck, at least not currently.
right.
A mill
Okay,
deck right now seems more like if you want to win in style as opposed to if you want to win.
that's true. There have been viable mill decks though in Magic though, right?
Yeah, I think
In the
so.
past.
I'm not a
Oh yeah,
Magic pro.
so
Yeah, there should be. Yeah, like you get. I heard like I have a couple of friends who are like Magic pros, and they were like, oh, apparently you can get infinite health because there's no max health cap in Magic. So
Oh, wow.
apparently that's a good option, you know, if you want to do that.
yeah, I mean, and in Magic there are specific cards like put the top half of your opponent's library into the graveyard, and like put the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck into the graveyard. So in Magic, like a mill strategy, there's a card called Millstone, which is
Mhm.
probably where mill even
Comes from yeah,
comes from, or maybe the card developed from that. I don't know, but it's basically continuous mill where you just keep putting cards from the top of your opponent's deck onto the graveyard. So uh, a strategy that was in that deck, and also in that game, when you run out of cards in your library, you just lose. So
that's true.
different game.
Yeah,
In this
different game.
game, mill is not a focal point.
Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Amaz from the Graphics Kid. Does Amaz think there will ever be a solid replacement for injured Blade Master and Priest? Anything currently in the game?
Oh, Dark Cultist, yeah, Dark Cultist is a solid replacement.
Okay.
Um, like Ninja Blade Master is definitely not like really important card because the thing is if you play a turn 3, it's only 3 health. It's like a Grizzly, right? So nobody plays
Mhm.
Grizzly, and because Grizzly sucks. So it's not like super important. I mean, my first priest deck I made included Watchers and everything, and it was okay. So I don't think that what the Blade Master is important. The thing is, I'm including Blade Master because I run Arcanine Circle, and it so
Yeah.
happens that Circle is good with Blade Master. It's not the other way around where I run Blade Master. Where I run Circle, so I run Blade Master. It's
Right.
not that. It's because I want that Flame Strike for 4. So then Blade Master is like, oh, okay. Sometimes I don't need a Flame Strike. Like, why would I need a Flame Strike against certain classes? So, like against Druids, right? You don't
Mhm.
need, we really need a Flame Strike a lot. So, Blade Master is just. I wouldn't rate it very highly, but because I run Circle, then why not?
Okay. Let's see. Makovicky asks, with a ton of Death Rattle cards floating around, is Master Dispel becoming a viable card in Priest deck? No, look at both of them. No.
I will say though that Tides of Time brought a priest deck with 1 copy of Master Spell into some tournament. So, I mean, 1 copy could have some amount of merit. That's all.
Um,
I mean,
actually,
it
yeah,
could.
Master Spell like it doesn't work in normal deck because, in my opinion, you pay 4 mana to do nothing. That's what it says. You pay 4 mana, you do nothing because you draw your card back. You might as well add another card to begin with, and you're not affecting any stats on the board, right? You're just affecting future stuff, which is not. You need to solve the board every turn, like right now. There's always like a time limit. I actually found out why Master Spell is in the game like a few weeks ago. is because of Divine Spirit and Inner Fire combos. So, for example, you have a Tiger and you buff it to a lot of attack, and they play a million taunts, boom, you play Master Spell. So, yeah, I think that's why it's in the game.
To deal with stealth, I guess. I mean
So
in that particular case.
to use the Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo. Yeah. No, not to deal with. Like, you have the. You have.
Oh,
Tiger
you
to-
have the thing. Oh, I was
And
gonna
then you have
say.
a million taunts.
Oh, they have a
right?
million taunts. Gotcha,
that-
gotcha. I was like, oh, okay,
That's
I
why
wasn't
it's
understanding
in the
that.
game. So I think that's the reason that's why it's in the game.
Got it. Okay. Wow, that's the only
Hey, it's
reason
also
in the
there to
game.
counter Soul of
Jeez.
the Forest. No, but
Soul
it
of the
is
Forest.
Master
Oh my
Spell.
God.
So
Wait,
if
what's
your
that card
opponent has a
version?
lot of, if your opponent has a lot of death rattles, like that card actually can get value at times, and at worst you do 4 mana to do nothing, and you basically replace your card. It's like, I could be convinced to run a copy, but it would take a lot of convincing.
Wait, what about like the shaman, the crazy looking shaman? Like we've been talking about, right? With the ribbon, just the barons and that sort of bit. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you could get enough value in that scenario, but that's still reaching. Probably.
Yeah, Silence for 0. The card Silence for 0 is way better.
Is better, yeah, just a single. Because most of the time you're just gonna want to silence a single target anyways. In
Yeah,
those,
exactly.
those scenarios, yeah, I think so. But we're gonna see one more. We are gonna see a silence minion in Nax at some point, right? There is one minion that has silence, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, Soul.
Yeah. So we should be seeing that. That'd be nice. It would be nice to see more at least single minion type of silences in Hearthstone right now, because I don't know, Spellbreaker and Owl still aren't like the greatest options. I think whenever trying to consider silences right now, putting it into a deck. All right, I think that's gonna be about it. I think that's gonna be it for questions. There's a lot more questions, but I think we're gonna call it for the day. So we're gonna wrap up. And any last thoughts, I guess, from you guys, Amaz? Anything on I guess Nax Rammus?
Looking forward to week 4 so much. Man, I think we're just all waiting
Yeah.
for this week. Like, everything's gonna change for week 4, and then yeah, just gonna be happy. Just gonna be really excited because right now I don't even know if the decks are gonna be relevant after week 4's out. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Trump.
Let's talk about nachos. Amaz, I hear you're casting a nacho thing. What is that
Oh,
all
yeah.
about?
Nacho. What?
so it's the North American College.
Oh yeah.
Something that yeah, it's gonna be in Seattle. It's 31st, I believe. That's what I'm flying there at least, and me and Rios is gonna be casting that. It's gonna be super fun, I guess. And yeah, there's a $5,000 scholarship for the first prize winner, I believe.
Yeah.
I might be wrong with this, but yeah.
It's the tournament or whatever hosted by Tesla.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely great. If you're a college student, definitely sign up for that. It's free to sign up for. So.
Oh yeah, by the way,
would
today
you?
is the last day to sign up. You have
Oh.
until
Awesome.
midnight my time, so
Oh,
you have
wow.
11 hours basically. So go sign up, get that college monies, yo.
Free money by playing Hearthstone. I mean, you're not gonna beat that.
Goes well with cheese and jalapenos.
That too. Let's see, anything else? Oh, you have the VGVN tournament actually coming up this
Oh
weekend
yeah,
too, right?
it's a Liquid Open.
Mhm.
It's sponsored by VGVN, so I think it's like the first hit of in liquidhearth.com. So if you just go to liquidhearth.com, you can probably find it. And there are people like oh god, I'm at a loss of things. No, there are people like me, Reynad, Savish, who else is there? RDU is joining. So yeah.
I think it's it's 6 players and then 2 qualifiers
players.
from the TL Open,
Two
right?
qualifiers are
Yeah.
Sixo and Lucky, which is
Sixo and
pretty
Lucky,
cool.
right.
'Cause
Yeah.
they're like pretty good. They're really good players, and a lot of people probably know them. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so check that out this weekend. That'd be great. What stream is that going to be on actually? Do we
I have.
do we
no
know?
idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure what stream that's going to be on. I don't think does TL have like a team stream? I don't even know if they do actually. But check it out. I'm sure it'll be on Reddit, and you can find that event for sure. Let's do some shout outs, thank yous, and we can wrap up the show. Amaz, you want to do some shout outs?
Oh, yeah, sure. Shout outs to you guys. Thank you for inviting me to the show. Thanks to my team, of course, Team Liquid. I also recently recently released a guide on my Druid. which is actually pre-Nax, but I put in some Nax cards in there. So if you guys check it in liquidhearth.com, that'll be cool. And that's about it. I can't really think of anybody. Shout out to Blizzard, by the way. I haven't shouted to Blizzard for a long time, but yeah, Blizzard just makes it really good. So, yeah.
Make it such
I
a
miss
great
them a
game.
lot.
Yeah, Trump.
Shout out to Amaz for just kind of pioneering and being the big guy for Priest. I'm really enjoying playing Priest right now. Makes me feel like a, what is it called? Evil Overlord all the time when you pull off all those tricks and then like you do things that seem really unfair and you crush the opponent. That's very cool. Um, Good job, Blizzard, on Nax. Apparently, there's still big. There's like a 100. Going off of memory, there's an expansion already being planned,
Yeah,
which
planned.
has 100 or cards. I mean, no release date, obviously. I mean, I have no idea how long it'll take. Months, probably.
Wait, there's
Hopefully, the
100?
smaller amount of months.
There's
But
100. Oh my god.
yes, wow,
Yeah.
all right.
And we'll have those guys on here soon too. We were supposed to have them on last week, but they were on turn two. Or Ben was on turn two, which he gave some insight on that. And then we're gonna follow up with some more questions on that. Apparently, the next card release won't be like this, right? Won't be like Naxxramas with the solo adventure type of thing. It's just gonna be more of a straight card release. So that should be really cool. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap things up. I would thank both of you guys, obviously, for doing the show today. It's always a lot of fun. Of course, Trump every week, and Amaz, love having you on. Got to do it again soon. And you can guys will if you missed any of the show, you can find it on youtube.com/ChanManV later on today. Probably soon after the show, I'll post it. Hopefully there's no audio meeting involved. There's no music in this, right? So it should be okay. And you can follow us all on Twitter at ChanManV, at Liquid Amaz, and at TrumpSC. And that's going to be it, guys, for Value Town. So for Trump, Amaz, and myself, ChanManV, we will see you next week. Later.